Hey guys, I'm Travis, and this is my sister Christiana.
Hello.
And my brother Michael.
Hey!
We were told we had to talk to you about the Constitution. Wait, hold on. Yeah, I gotta take this. I'll be right back.
Bye.
Okay, that's Travis, and he's the oldest, and he thinks he's the smartest, though sometimes we wonder. But just to keep peace in the family, we're gonna let him think he's in charge, so just kind of go along with us.
Okay, I'm back.
Hello.
So, laws, government, Constitution, elections, you hear about it all the time. It's on TV, on the radio, in the news, it's everywhere. And now, it's Constitution Week, and you get to hear about it in school. Excited, right? So here it is. More than 200 years ago, a couple grumpy old men wearing wigs and weird pants got together and wrote this faded paper, and they called it their Constitution.
No.
Grumpy men, really? Haven't you ever wondered where the Constitution comes from? I mean, it wasn't always faded.
Seriously, didn't you ever ask what the Constitution really is? I mean, maybe it's important, you know?
And maybe it wasn't just their Constitution. There's a chance that it matters to us too.
Yes!
Well, actually, I have, and I was about to explain all of that.
Oh, go ahead.
Well, as I was saying before the interruption, we could break this down into 3 questions. Where did the Constitution come from? What is it? And why does it matter to me? So, where did the Constitution come from? Well, it was a small group of men that got together to draft the Constitution. It only took a few days since they all pretty much agreed from the beginning anyway.
No!
Actually, 55 men wrote the Constitution, and it was a pretty long process since it took the large and the small states several months to agree.
Whatever. However it happened, the President of the United States signed it, and there it was.
Huh?
Are you sure the President of the United States signed it? Because there was no such thing.
Nothing.
It was actually the Constitution that established the office of the President.
Yeah, you're right. I was just testing you. So, second question, what is the Constitution? Well, it was the first governing document in the United States.
Nope, it wasn't. What about the Articles of Confederation?
Do y'all want to give this talk?
Yes.
Well, I didn't ask you. So, last question, why does the Constitution matter to you? Well, it really doesn't, because you're not an elected official, are you? If you're not in the government, then you don't really need a Constitution, do you?
Okay, so let me tell you the truth about the Constitution. Where did the Constitution really come from? As we were saying, the Constitution was not the first governing document of the United States.
Huh?
The Constitution was written to replace the Articles of Confederation, which had been the governing document for several years. The Articles were not working out so well, so in 1787, a group of men from across the country gathered to revise them. It took over 4 months of heated debate, disagreement, and compromise to write what became our new Constitution. The large states wanted it their way, and the small states wanted it theirs. And at one point, some of the small states became so aggravated, they threatened to align with England, who we had just defeated in the Revolutionary War. Eventually, after much discussion, wise counsel, and hard work, they were able to settle on an agreement, and our new Constitution was passed on September 17th, 1787. Michael, where's Travis?
Occupied. Don't worry, he knew we could handle it. Next question.
Okay, so now we know the truth about where the Constitution came from. It was written to replace the Articles of Confederation in 1787.
True story. But what exactly is the Constitution? Why was it so important to the people and the states?
According to Noah Webster's 1828 dictionary, a constitution establishes the government of a country. In a free country, it limits the government's power.
So let's break it down. There are 3 main parts of the Constitution. The preamble states the purpose of our government, the articles establish the structure of our government, and the amendments clarify the limits of our government's power.
The first part of our Constitution is called the preamble. This is where you can find the purpose of our government. The preamble is exciting because not only does it explain the reason that they wrote the Constitution, but it also explains the whole reason that we have a government. In fact, we'll show you. Hey, Travis, we need you to read the preamble.
Not unless Michael unties me.
Okay, just read it.
We the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity, do ordain and establish this Constitution for the United States of America.
Thanks, Travis.
Michael?
I'll be back.
Wait a minute!
Okay, the preamble has a lot to it, and it can be a little bit confusing. So let's bring in our dad, Senator Barry Loudermilk, to share his expertise.
Okay.
We're going to make the preamble really simple for a minute so that we can see the true purpose of the Constitution. To do that, we'll first take out all the middle stuff between the commas. We, the people of the United States, do ordain and establish this Constitution for the United States of America. Simply put, we took a part of our God-given power and used it to form a government.
Okay, so basically, the entire purpose of the Constitution was for us to start a government. But Dad, I have a question. Why did we form a government and give some of our power away? I mean, don't most of us like making our own decisions?
The answer is in a phrase of the preamble: to secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity. To secure the blessings of liberty means that the whole purpose of our government is to protect our liberty. Things like the police, the military, and the courts are there to make sure that our liberty is protected. The founders not only wanted a government to protect their liberty, but also to protect your liberty today. So, for ourselves and our posterity simply means the Constitution was important back then, today, and in the future. This is your Constitution. Our government was started by people like you, for you, and to ensure your freedom will always be protected.
So, the preamble shows that the purpose of the Constitution was for us to establish a government, and the entire purpose of the government is to protect our freedoms.
Woo!
Okay, so I guess I'm gonna go check on my brothers real quick.
Okay, well, anyway, the 7 articles make up the second part of the Constitution. The articles explain the structure of our government, or the way our government was built. Here's how it works.
Wait, hold on. I know how it works. I've been studying this. So we the people took a part of our power and used it to start a government, just like the preamble said. Then the articles of the Constitution split that power into 3 separate branches of government: the executive, the legislative, and the judicial. But what I don't understand is why we split that power into 3 different branches. I mean, wouldn't one branch be easier to deal with?
Seriously?
Well, yeah, one branch may be easier to deal with, but the men who wrote the Constitution were mostly concerned about making sure this new government didn't have too much control over us, the people. Because of their own experience with England, they knew that to protect our rights, it would be best to split the power of the government between different branches.
In fact, they were very careful to assign each branch specific responsibilities and give each branch specific powers so that no one branch would have complete control over the government.
For instance, the president is given power to command the military, but Congress is given the power to declare war. This means that these 2 branches would have to agree that war was necessary before we send our soldiers to war.
This method of splitting up the power is what we call checks and balances.
So basically, the articles structure our government into 3 branches, and each branch is given a part of the power that we gave the government.
The final part of the Constitution is the amendments. The first 10 amendments to the Constitution are commonly called the Bill of Rights because they list some of the most basic rights of American citizens. Dad, I understand what the Bill of Rights is, but why did they feel it was necessary to list our basic rights? Don't most of us already know what they are?
The Bill of Rights was added to the Constitution to help answer the concerns some states had about how powerful the national government should be. Since this Constitution was not just for these men, but it was to protect the rights of future generations, they wanted to make sure that their beliefs and ideas about this government were clearly understood. The first 10 amendments listed some of the basic rights God gave to all people and specified that the government would always have to protect these rights. The Bill of Rights simply put in writing some of the most important restrictions on the power of the government to make sure that we understood them today.
That makes sense. They were just clarifying for everyone that the government's job is to protect our rights.
So what is the Constitution? It's a document that we wrote to establish the purpose of our government, the structure of our government, and the limits of our government. It's our Constitution.
Well, guys, I'm going to say, you know your stuff.
Yep.
I'll admit those smart guys in wigs wrote a pretty significant Constitution. I mean, they started a government, they explained why 3 branches of government were better than one, and they added amendments at the end to make sure the government didn't try any funny business. But I still want to know, why does all of this matter to me? I mean, I'm not a part of the government.
Well, Travis, it matters to you because it's your Constitution. You say you're not part of the government, but without us, there would be no government. You see, the Constitution was not written by the government to run the people. It was written by the people to run the government.
I never really thought about it that way. So you're saying that the government was started by people like me, and it was for me. But now that the Constitution is written and the government already exists, why does the Constitution matter to me today?
It matters to you today because not only did the Constitution establish our government, it's the rule book for our government. And guess what? It's our job to make sure the government follows the rules that we set for them in the Constitution. If we don't ensure they abide by the rules, then who will?
It's like this. A sports team has a book of rules, right? But it's the referee's job to make sure they follow them or get penalized when they don't. If the referee's not paying attention and the rules are broken, the team's not going to say anything. Have you ever heard of a team call a foul on itself?
No.
In America, we are the referees for the government. It's our job to make sure that the government always follows the rules that we set in the Constitution.
Wow. I guess I never realized that it's my job to make sure the government follows the Constitution. But is it really important that they do follow the Constitution? Does it make a difference to me if they don't?
Travis, we live in the greatest nation in the world, but it's only the greatest because of our freedom. It matters to you that the government follows the Constitution because if it doesn't, our freedoms could begin to be taken away. And I don't know about you, but I really enjoy being free and getting to choose how I live my life. If you don't ever want to lose your freedom, then the Constitution matters to you. If you want to honor those who have given their lives earning your freedom, then the Constitution matters to you. Freedom was given to you, but to keep it, you have a job to do. You have to know the Constitution. You have to use the Constitution. And you have to protect the Constitution. This is your Constitution, and it matters to you.
It's my Constitution and it matters to me.
It's my Constitution and it matters to me.
It is my Constitution, and it does matter to me.
It's my Constitution and it matters to me.
It's my Constitution, and it matters to me.
It's your Constitution, and I challenge you to learn as much as you can about it because it matters to you.